It's a sad day, guys. Day 7, June 7th. That means that it is voting day. So Matt is actually going up to David Yolo County to vote. Good for him. Also going to see friends and family. Balance is important, folks, but the bad news is I'm not going to have a Matt following me around all day. So give me the camera. You're like so smiley. You just can't wait to leave.
Don't mess up the video.
I won't. What's going on, guys? As you know, Matt went up to UC Davis today to vote and to see his girlfriend. I think that balance is very important, so I'm completely supportive of that, and I'm fully capable of filming myself today. So I'm going to be here in my studio doing a bunch more paintings because I've got the Life Chiropractic installation going in on Friday. Very, very excited about it, and I'm very inspired right now with some new ideas for some art pieces, so you're going to get a sneak peek at some of that. I also just want to say thank you guys so much. Everyone has been so supportive and amazing. Strangers that I tell about this project are excited for me, and obviously all my friends and family are very, very supportive, and it's just so amazing. So thank you for everyone that's commented and shared and liked and everything. It means the world to me. So really, really appreciate you guys. Also, one of the viewers, Jacqueline, asked what inspired my art style, and so I figured this would be a perfect day to talk about that a little bit. Although I've just started promoting my art and marketing my art on June 1st this year, I've actually painted as long as I can remember. My whole life I've been creative. I was really into photography in high school. I had a dark room and did some photography in college as well. I took a lot of painting and art classes in college too. So as soon as I graduated from college, I started kind of pursuing a digital marketing career and adult things and whatever. And as you probably know, life gets in the way, and so sometimes creative expression takes a back seat. And that happened to me for the last 6 or 7 years, and that was kind of sad. I did find different ways to be creative, and I still painted a little bit. Some of you might know I used to run a house painting business in college, and so I ended up with just tons and tons of acrylic house paint, and so I would do a lot of painting with that, a lot of splatter painting. There was a phase where I was splatter painting on clothes. I would get like nice suits from the Goodwill, and then I'd splatter paint kind of accents, and that was kind of fun. But recently in February and March, I took a trip to Barcelona. It was my first time in Europe. And I completely fell in love with the city, and really what spoke to me the most was all the street art and the history there and the culture. Just amazing. I took a street art tour. My guide named Raquel was just awesome, and she was just so knowledgeable and was explaining how kind of the rise of graffiti and street art in Barcelona, and back when it was like the street art capital of the world before the city started cracking down. And so just exploring the city and seeing the art there really spoke to me and inspired me to start painting again. And that's when I started cooking up this idea for 90 Days to MoMA. It wasn't an overnight aha thing. It was just like I started in my head planning, okay, well, how can I do this art thing in a fun, creative way that I can share the experience with other people? So eventually that turned into 90 Days to MoMA and what you're seeing now. As far as me personally and who's had the biggest influence on my art, I guess, and my style or whatever is, it's gonna sound kind of cliche, but it's Banksy and it's Shepard Fairey and Jackson Pollock and Andy Warhol. Those are my favorite artists. Banksy's stencils are so amazing. I love how he integrates a stencil into the actual landscape that he puts it in. So he'll take, whether it's a crack in the sidewalk or a hedge that's growing a certain way or a pipe that's on the side of a building, and he'll make a stencil that interacts with the environment itself. I really love that. Shepard Fairey has just done such a good job with Obey. I like his art. It's simple, but it's absolutely brainwashing how he gets it everywhere and does everything from tiny stickers to huge paste ups. I just have so much respect for that dude, and hopefully I'm gonna get to meet him actually in August, which is gonna be great. And then Jackson Pollock. For some of you guys that might know this, I used to have a house painting business in college, and so I would paint houses during the summer. And so I ended up with just tons and tons and tons of different colors of acrylic house paint extras at the end of every job. So what I started doing is I started splatter painting, kind of like Jackson Pollock, and I actually learned, it's interesting to me with the splatter painting side of things because it's random and you can never do the same thing twice. And And I think that that's beautiful and artistic, but at the same time, when I was splatter painting back in 2012, I was actually splatter painting this acrylic house paint onto formal wear. Like I would go and buy like a tuxedo jacket from the Goodwill, and then I would splatter paint accents on it. And I was experimenting with different tools like forks or sticks or paintbrushes as kind of the means to splatter paint, and I would start to kind of learn what to expect and what different tools and how that affected the splatter kind of randomness. So I really like Jackson Pollock's work. So the splatter painting aspect, I guess, of my painting is inspired by him. And then Andy Warhol, obviously, with just icon for pop art, is just incredible. I love the bright colors that he uses. He'll take images and just use crazy neon colors. I love bright colors. So I think that kind of sums up where my art inspiration comes from. You know, the stencils, the stencil work that Shepard Fairey and Banksy do, splatter painting like Jackson Pollock, and then the bright colors from Andy Warhol. So those are my biggest icons. I also have a couple other street artists that I really like. C215, his name's Christian, but he goes by C215. He's an amazing street artist that does some incredible stencil stuff. And I also really like a guy named Paper Monster, who does kind of mixed media stuff where he'll do collages of comics or books and then do stencils on top of that. So, like this, for example. This one was very much inspired by Paper Monster and his stuff with the collage. So that's it. Today we're just gonna paint. Got to get after it. I got a ton of canvases. I got more today even, some bigger ones, which I'm really excited about. I've got some ideas, so game on. Thank you again for watching. I love you all.